I do everything until we get to
Okay, good evening. This is the Town of Dumfries Economic Development Authority meeting, March 4th, 2026. And the first item on the agenda is a call to order. And the second is roll call. And, oh.
Member Brown,
present.
Member Gilly,
Present.
Member Lofton, Member Spence, Member Cooper and Harris are absent. Roll call. So you do have a quorum.
Great. Okay, next on the agenda, we have the adoption of the agenda.
I'm going to move that we move the bylaws after the election of officers.
Second.
Okay.
Second by.
Also second.
We both said it. Member Daly. To pass the motion.
Oh, yeah, so,
All in favor?
oh, we're ready to vote?
Yeah.
Okay, if we're ready for, any unreadiness on that? No? Okay, so, okay, ready for question? Yes.
All in favor?
Member Lofton. Yes. Member Brown,
Aye.
Member Spence,
Aye.
with Barbara and Harris absent. One vote. Motion passes.
Great, so we can move on with the elections.
Adoption of the actual agenda.
Oh, thank you, thank you. That was to amend the agenda. So is there a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and move to that we adopt the agenda as amended.
Second.
Who seconded? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Member Daly,
Yes.
Member Spence,
Yes.
Member Lofton,
Yes.
Member Brown,
Aye.
and Carpora and Harris are absent, and motion carries.
Great, so we can move on to the election of officers. I guess the first office is chair. Are there nominations for the office of chair?
I would like to make a motion to elect Nate as the chair.
Second. I second.
Who's the motion for chair?
Nate Daly.
You tell me the motion.
Daly.
Okay, are there any other nominations?
I'm going to nominate Sheree for vice chair.
Can we do one at a time, the
We're
chair?
going to do one at a time.
Do the motion.
Great.
Okay. Sorry. Member Brown,
Aye.
Member Spence,
Aye.
Member Lofton,
Yes.
and Daly needs to abstain. Motion carries.
Great, thank you.
Uh-oh, got me.
Okay,
Gavel.
there we is.
That.
Here you go in the front row.
You're crazy now.
Oh, and congratulations.
Are we going to continue with the elections? You want to continue? Okay, so let's do we have an election for the vice chair? I'm going to go ahead and move for Sheree for vice chair, Director Harris.
Second.
There's been a motion on the floor for Director Harris. Is there any unreadiness?
So I do want to pose a question. She's not here to accept
To accept or deny?
or not. I know she anticipated being here shortly, so I don't know if we want to wait, but in her absence, perhaps as a placeholder, I have no problem with her, with the nomination at all. But this is assuming she accepts.
Any other readiness? Dr. Brown? Anything?
So I have a question. So can we continue with the elections and come back and hold that position?
Sure. Yeah, we can. Okay,
But
so
we can come back to that agenda item, okay?
that's fine. So we'll table that motion. Is that fine? But we need to put a motion on the floor to table the rest of the elections until the rest of the directors get here. Unless you want to continue.
Did we skip that one?
Get that one?
Yeah, we can skip that and come back.
So then let's do our treasurer position.
So I'd like to make a motion to nominate Ms. Ebony Lofton as the treasurer.
Second that.
Accept.
Accept that. There's a motion on the floor to put Ms. Ebony Lofton as the treasurer. Any unreadiness? Okay, ready for the question?
Okay.
All right, call for the question.
Member Brown?
Aye.
Member Daley?
Aye.
Member Spence?
Aye.
Sir abstain.
Motion passed, so congratulations. Treasurer. Outside of that, I think we need to kind of move to the adoption of the bylaws here. Are we ready for the bylaws at this time, or we want to give this a minute? Out of curiosity.
So sort of in conjunction, if I may, with the bylaws, the Office of Secretary. I think there's a question.
Yeah, there's a
there.
question there. Yeah.
But if nothing else, it can be tabled to come back to, and I can explain further maybe my input on that.
Well, that's a good question. That's actually what's going to be the one I raised as well. But let's go ahead and handle the secretary position now. So you want to go ahead and?
I didn't have any motion at the time to suggest anyone, but
But that is in conjunction with our bylaws,
Yes.
correct? Yeah, I see what you're saying. So we will table the vice chair position, right?
Mhm.
And then we can move on to the adoption of the bylaws. So let's go ahead and go there and talk about that for a second. Oh, for the record, we want to go ahead and recognize Director Ben as coming in. Got it? Director Ben, we did preliminary elections and adoption of the agenda. So we're on the adoption of the bylaws. Okay. So let's talk about the bylaws. Are you guys ready to vote on the bylaws, or do we want to take a minute to discuss that?
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So for the most part, I think the staff recommendations were appropriate and made sense. Even I believe I'm just gonna go each page. Removing the clause about resignation and removals made sense to me. The electing, which we did. So here is the part where I think there was the recommendation for the secretary.
Mhm.
And the recommendation was that the deputy town clerk serve as the secretary. Considering that the EDA is a separate entity that is going to have a tax ID number and going to be, I'm assuming, registered with the state and everything else, the role of secretary is bigger. While these bylaws dictate that, and that's common in most corporations where the secretary does not have to be a member. However, a secretary at times is going to serve as, like, they are typically the keeper of the corporate seal. They will sign corporate documents in conjunction with the chair. And so I think maybe the intent here was for the deputy town clerk to perhaps assist in the minute keeping and roll call. But I do think it would be helpful to identify a specific secretary from this body for corporate purposes.
So I agree, but I think the intent, Mr. Tabor, you might clarify this. I think the intent was just to have somebody to support the EDA until that secretary on staff.
Not in the bylaws. In the bylaws, it's explicit that we're putting.
No, I'm looking. I think the intent of the town was to provide,
Oh, I see.
so I think that was the intent. Was that not the intent?
Yes.
So the bylaws are really requiring us to use as it's written in bylaws right now, it's requiring us to use the deputy town clerk.
Correct.
We need to,
Yes, and there is, I believe, another option that is available, and that is to have a secretary position and a deputy secretary position, and potentially you could have the deputy secretary serve as the secretary who takes the minutes and does the agendas and posting and the administrative duties, and then the duties that Director Lofton identified or other specific duties that the authority would to bestow on a secretary would be identified as the duties of the secretary. And that would be another option for you if you'd like to bifurcate the position and have a secretary and a deputy.
Well, I like the idea that the secretary is working with the town for especially coordinations and meetings. However, my concern would be what she just stated in terms of the conflict of interest when there is and necessarily needs to be a separation between the EDA and the town. For whatever reasons that come into, if we come to a contractual obligation with bonding or whatever it is, there needs to be that that protection for the town. So that would be my number one concern. The second thing is that if it is the case that we need to maintain those duties in separation, then can we then put this into the duty of liaison of one of the directors to ensure that that's done? Now, that they would be the director of the liaison between the town and the EDA. So is that what you're suggesting in that context? Or are you saying to have a completely separate position that then is the exact liaison or be able to handle some of those public record keeping items that need to be addressed?
A recommendation for consideration would be to have a secretary and then have a separate deputy secretary. And the secretary would be the board member who serves as the, provides the duties or fulfills the duties that Director Lofton mentioned and the chair alluded to. And then the deputy secretary would perform the administrative duties such as agenda posting, minute taking, preparing the room for meetings and things like that.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if you all have had the elections yet. This is Sandra Robinson. May I speak?
Oh, I'm sorry. That is who?
The town attorney.
Oh, I see. Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Well, good evening, everyone. I apologize for the technical difficulties we've had, but I've gotten a little bit of the conversation in terms of the questions around the secretary. I just wanted to throw some things in for your consideration, not to impose any particular view on to your deliberations. But, as a public body, you're going to have to meet certain requirements in terms of either posting and reporting out the transactions of the EDA and utilizing staff who are already familiar with the state regulations relative to a FOIA would be helpful. And I also want to remind you to keep in mind that at some point in the future, you can amend your bylaws and change some of these things. So you may start out relying heavily on town staff simply because you lack the resources to kind of, staff up the way you want to with the specific personnel that you want to. But at some point in the future, when the EDA has started to generate revenue from its various investments, then your choices can expand. But you can look at this as one of those preliminary, lines of assistance that the town can provide you as you stabilize and then grow your business. So that was really it. And I thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for letting me speak.
Yeah, I have one question for you, Town Attorney. Go ahead, Director.
Madam Town Attorney, based the way the bylaws is written, the statement that we're looking at now, there's
Yes,
not
sir.
gonna be any kind of legal issue with the state because it's in our bylaws like that. Is that correct?
Okay. Would you point me to the specific provision?
It's on page, what's page one? Up on the secretary, deputy town clerk will serve as the secretary of the authority. That's the real statement that I have a concern. Is that something that's contrasting or conflicting with state? So, yeah.
Yeah, so we cannot act outside of, what's authorized by the state. Even when you do so, the actions are sort of nullified by law. There's a self-correcting process. It's a matter, from my perspective, of the knowledge catching up with what's actually happened as a matter of law. But having said that, nothing here is in conflict with the state or is any way. I'm trying to figure out the best way of saying this. I don't think there's any kind of wording that raises the propensity of us operating outside of what's authorized or even violating. When I was speaking earlier, it was a matter of aiding the administration of the EDA as it sort of ramps up its business. And I'll say this also, based on your question, Director, these are just proposed bylaws, right? You guys are authorized, you have the full authority to go through this and change whatever's been proposed. This set of bylaws were sort of initially introduced some time ago before the board dissolved and has been reconstituted, but it should have been a jumping off point for discussion. You could have accepted it in whole. You could have changed all of it or portions of it. And the same situation presents itself here. These are bylaws to get you to start thinking about how you will be governed once they are adopted. But this is the time for you to say, well, listen, thank you for giving us the starting off point. Let us talk about it a little bit more and we'll make some revisions. But I will remind you that initially the resources are fairly limited, and I think they're highly dependent on the town's either granting those funds or at least, let's put in air quote, advancing those funds for doing business. So there is an advantage initially for leveraging the town resources where the state law allows you to do it. And state law allows all authorities to take advantage of, like, the locality staff for some of these types of roles. And that way you can expend your funds with those experts that will bring you greater value for the dollar. I'm not quite sure the secretary position will do that because most of the duties are ministerial. They're not discretionary. And so, it's just a matter of just kind of getting the better bang for your buck at this point in time.
Yeah, and I don't see an issue with allowing the deputy town manager to be the secretary, especially starting off, because I think most jurisdictions do that given the size. And we need something to give us a little bit of economies of scale. And I think, but for me, the bigger argument is the fact that we don't want to run into a compliance issue, you know? So if you have part-time or a staff member who's a board member who also has a full-time job somewhere else and who's not steeped in what's going on, it could, you know, we could have some compliance risk before we can start out the gate.
I've looked at some of the other EDAs, and one of the things they do is they do an operating agreement with the town. The EDA and the town will have some type of operating agreement. I think that's an important conversation that we need to be having in this context. My recommendation is going to be this, that at the formation of the EDA, not to exceed a period of 3 years, that we go ahead and use the town as a deputy secretary. And then take the option in which we will designate a secretary from the directors to coordinate, and that person will also act as a liaison between the town and the EDA to ensure that we're having both, compliant conversations, but also making sure that we're not missing anything that's important. So that's going to be where my thought is, and also that one of those duties we're going to add in there is to that formation. I would say even at that 3 year, up to that 3 year, or to the extent that we have an operating management agreement between the EA and the town. I think that whether that happens now or whether we work through that over the next 3 years, I think that's what we need to make sure is there in place in terms of formation. And that can be sort of the defining point that we can, kind of say, okay, well, now we can either choose to move off from this, using the deputy town manager as a secretary, or we can keep it at that point. But that would be my recommendation.
So one point of clarity is just, we're talking about the deputy town clerk, not the deputy town manager. So
Deputy town clerk, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I think the premise of what is laid out here makes sense logically and rationally. My only concern, Chair, is that whatever we put in the bylaws and we agree to approve the bylaws, that's what we are saying. And this right here does not reflect what we intend to do downstream. That's all I'm saying. And so, understanding what you said, I agree with it. Just
We need to make sure it makes sense.
when we codify these bylaws, we need to make it so we don't have to go back and amend them, because that's the piece that I'm looking at.
Again, sir, may I speak? I don't have a raising hand signal on my laptop here, so I do want to speak to Director Brown's comment and just offer an option for you.
Oh, yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Is permission granted?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so as I said before, this draft was proposed to give you a launching off spot for thinking how you want to have your meetings govern, your operations govern in general. You don't have to adopt these today. And so maybe what would be more beneficial, so you do not have to worry about adopting something today and then having to amend it within a couple meetings or so, is to just take all this under consideration. And then at your next meeting, I will be there and I can walk through with you page by page the provisions that have been proposed, and we can go through the entire membership and listen to what is the alternative if you don't like something that's been proposed initially, and we can change it. And it's based on those changes that you can make your final approval for an initial set of bylaws. So again, we were hoping that this would start the discussion, not just end the discussion.
Understood. So let's do that. I'm going to put a motion to table that, put it under a new business. But next week, let's everybody come with a few questions. But I will put a motion that we table the adoption of the bylaws for additional commenting. Is that, a second for that?
Second.
Just for the record, I want to say, I think that it should really be the opposite. I think that we need to have a map and a path. I don't have a problem with amending bylaws. Like I said, the only question was about the secretarial title. I think that Mr. Tabor made an excellent suggestion in just having a deputy secretary, because the duties spelled out are just highly administrative. And then if there is someone among us who is even willing to serve in that capacity, then I think that's the time to add it. But if that doesn't happen, then we have it spelled out and it's done. That's my opinion about it. In my experience, it's one of the things you want to have, even if it is.
Get a call for the question? Or to table this? Yeah.
To table it,
Table this for next session, yes.
Member Daley,
Yes.
Member Brown,
Aye.
Member Harris.
Aye.
Member Garbara.
Aye.
Member Lofton,
No.
and Member Spence.
No.
Motion carries 4-2.
Okay, and guys, we're gonna go back to the election of officers, just so we can catch up. Director Harris. Director Harris, we were getting ready to put forth a nomination for vice chair. You in a position for vice chair?
Yes.
Make sure you accept it.
Yes, I do.
So I'm gonna go ahead and put the motion on the floor to nominate vice chair Director Harris for vice chair.
Second.
It's been properly moved to second. Any unreadiness? Any questions? Okay, can we get a call for the question?
Member Daley,
Yes.
Chair Darrell. Member Brown,
Aye.
Member Spence,
Aye.
Member Garbara,
Aye.
Member Lofton,
Yes.
and Member Harris abstained. Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Glad to be back.
The next is, we're gonna do an adoption of the annual meeting calendar. I'm just gonna read it just real quick, just so we can all be on the same page with this calendar. From what I remember is that we were looking at the first Wednesday, is it third Wednesday of every month? First or third?
Yes, however, the first Wednesday of each month was proposed. However, the town attorney did mention that occasionally the town council will have to move their meeting to the first Wednesday of each month if there's a problem with the meeting on Tuesday, the first Tuesday. So there was a recommendation for your consideration of moving it to either the second Wednesday or second Tuesday of the month, so it won't conflict with the town council meetings or potential town council meetings.
So this calendar, just so I'm clear, would change?
Yes. This calendar that you have before you is the first Wednesday, and so it would be proposed to change to the second, yeah. And we would need to change the dates.
I'm sorry, so there's a potential conflict with the council
Yes,
if they meet on the Tuesday prior.
Right.
Issue, they come back on Wednesday.
Occasionally, yes, if there is a problem with the meeting. For example, Election Day in November is a Tuesday, so they move that meeting to the Wednesday, which would be the regular meeting day for the
Would it
EDA.
be problematic if we moved ours just one day over? So if they move to Wednesday, we move to Thursday?
And I guess another challenge would be for staffing, if for example, you needed the town attorney to provide information, having to come back to back evenings, maybe, and for your consideration, if you could consider moving it to the second week, that would be helpful.
Mr. Chairman, may I inject here?
Sure, go ahead. Yes.
So the first Thursday, if you rolled it over, will work. It's the Wednesday it really proposes a lot of problems that are more in line with scheduling for either the council or even myself. If my wasn't going to be regularly required. And if my appearance is not regularly required, you would still want to, I think, accommodate the fact that the council, usually if there's an event that makes their meetings, either not advisable or they simply cannot do it, they typically roll it over one business day.
So I would recommend leaving it the way it is right now. And if the council has a issue with moving the day to Wednesday, then we move our day to
Following Wednesday.
the second Wednesday.
The second Wednesday. Are you saying do it that next Wednesday?
Do it the next Wednesday. Like, instead of moving everything over, because
I see.
I think
I see what you-
people are locked in on that first Wednesday now.
Mhm.
And so this is not going to happen that often, but when it does happen, we'll take that meeting, push it to the second Wednesday in the month, and that'll leave this as is. That's my recommendation.
If that's the case, then can we move the November? We know that will be a conflict. Can we move that one to the second Wednesday?
Yep.
No, that's fine. Yeah. Okay.
That's not.
And we don't need to put that in, that we can just send.
We could just,
Yeah, because that's just a special meeting session where we can cancel and then reschedule since we do that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and call for the adoption of the agenda now. If there's,
no, continue.
can someone put a motion on that for the adoption of the agenda?
Schedule?
Huh?
Adoption of the schedule?
Yeah, just schedule, yeah.
I make a motion that we adopt the schedule as written.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion that we adopt the Town of Dumfries EDA meeting schedule for 2026, and it's been properly second. Any other questions? Any other readiness? Please continue.
No.
I insist.
So I just for the record, I do want to say, I don't agree with just changing it, because if the council changes, I think we have an opportunity to be independent. Unless someone has a real conflict with staff, why not just make it the second Wednesday or a Thursday? So that way we avoid having to do that altogether. So that would be my comment.
Yeah, it wasn't like the same, the second Wednesday, right? I thought that's what we.
I'm sorry.
She said move everything to the second Wednesday of the
Oh, I
month.
see what you're saying.
And just move everything to the second Wednesday.
I see what you're saying.
Director Ben?
I know this was, my question had to do with the attendance and and clarity on terms of being able, if a director is not able to be present for a meeting, guidelines around them being able to participate with.
And he's like,
Well, no, he's right.
the bylaws.
Yeah, I think that's.
Oh, I see. Yes, so you're talking about the bylaws, correct?
Correct, sorry. Yeah, the bylaws.
We moved that to next session.
Okay.
So we're addressing the agenda.
Understood.
Schedule, sorry.
What I'm saying is that I don't know whether you touched on that earlier.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we did. We pushed that conversation to next time so we could have more time to discuss it.
Okay.
We just want to know if the schedule's okay for everybody.
Fine.
Yeah. We good on that? So we're ready for the question. If there's any other readiness, any other comments that we want to discuss? The motion on the table is that we adopt the agenda as is, the schedule as is, sorry.
But that includes if we're talking about keeping it, changing November.
We would make the adjustments, should we not be able to meet in that first Wednesday, we will move it to the second Wednesday. That would be the other amendment.
I apologize if I may have one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because the other consideration is that whatever date it is moved, then there has to be 3 days' notice.
Yeah.
So if obviously the council is going to give their notice, and so that coincides, but just a thought.
Okay. It's been probably moved to second. Are we, any other readiness? Ready for a question?
Member Spence,
Yes.
Member Brown,
Aye.
Member Harris.
Aye.
Member Scarborough.
Aye.
Member Lawson. Chair Daly.
So I'm gonna go with old business here. Anything anyone deal with old business? I think we don't have any as of right now. So we'll go through new business dates for your training and town attorney. Move right to that.
Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, and Treasurer, and members of the authority or directors. We did receive 3 responses with regard to the dates for the FOIA training, and the common date and time amongst the 3 that we did receive was Tuesday, March 24th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Does that work with the other 3 directors? And if so,
5:30 to 7.
5:30 to 7:30.
Yeah, that'll work.
March 24th,
March 22nd.
March 24th, Tuesday, March 24th, 5:30 to 7:30.
So, Mr. Paper, you say you don't have any time.
Yes, sir.
So we're looking for March 24th.
Yes, yes. That was the only date actually that worked for all 3 of the other, of the responses that we
You
received.
said March 24th.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm good with
That doesn't work for me.
Okay. So we do have another option. We don't have to have just one session.
Okay.
We can have another session that works for other members.
So, Mr. Tabor, I think I indicated, I don't know if you got mine, but I think I indicated any time, any day.
Okay.
So there's an outset where we need to have the town attorney come in. We need to break this up.
Great,
Into that slot.
great, great.
24th. I like the word 24th. So what are the 2 dates are we gonna do? Got the 24th is one, and I have, what day, Director Harris?
Whatever other day besides two.
What about the
Text
31st?
Thank you. Yeah, I had this on my email.
You got the 25th there, that Wednesday.
Yeah, that works. That works.
Great.
It's just any other day besides Tuesday. That's all.
Great, okay.
Anything else works, yeah.
So we have March 24th, 5:30 to 7:30, and Wednesday, March 25th, 6 to 8. Great. We'll make sure that the town attorney receives that information.
Staff workshop, town council, planning commission, and town retail.
So I would like to make the authority aware that the town has contracted with a consultant consulting group actually to help us attract retailers to the town. The town council is in the process of scheduling a workshop with the consultant, and they would like to invite the authority members and also the planning commission. I was hoping that I would have a date and time. Unfortunately, I do not, but I will convey that information to you once it is available. And definitely wanted to make you aware that you will receive an invitation to the workshop.
Thank you.
So, Chair, seeing the comment section.
Yes, yeah. In terms of the agenda.
Excuse me, Chairman. Regarding one point I wanted to, in terms of other business, if you wouldn't mind.
You mean in new business?
No, this is, new
Staff
business. No, I believe I mentioned, we have a membership to the International Economic Development Council. And was curious as to who we could have as a point of contact to interface with that organization to start utilizing that membership.
Normally, we would have a comment section in here for directors. So what I'm going to do is, we did miss that in here, so I'm going to take a point of privilege and just add that in here before we close out, so that all the directors have, less than 2 minutes to just leave your comments in there. I'm going to just start it off by just kind of letting everybody know that the idea for these agendas that we're going to go on, and the way I'm going to do it is that I'm going to ask everybody to put input on the agenda so I can sit down and actually have that conversation with everybody individually, as well as making sure that we have it collectively kind of considered on what we're putting on there. But these comments are for your time so that you can kind of start raising some of the things that you're concerned with, things that you want to see get done, so that we can make sure that keep it transparent, but also to make sure that whatever it is that that you need to kind of address with the EDA on your side, that we have that addressed. Just 2 things I'm going to say is that out of that, we will look to kind of create committees, and that will be something that I will continue to look at in terms of how to handle it. For example, dealing with the International Economic Development Council, that may be a committee that we need to vote on and just create a liaison to kind of address that particular concern. Okay, that's just an example. So I am going to take that point of privilege, and then I'm going to start with, how about with Director Spence? You want to start us off with just a 2-minute director comment? Nothing, then just say no comment.
No, I just would, I guess, take a few seconds here to thank the staff of the town for bearing with us as we've gotten and we're getting stood up. There's a lot of work in the background, so just going to express the gratitude that it did not go unnoticed. Thank you.
Director Brown?
So I do want to express the appreciation for staff. I know the staff put in time. I know the staff working long hours when it comes to these meetings, so that does not go unrecognized. But I have a question for, I think, Mr. Tabor, take back to the town. I don't know if this is something I need to FOIA, but I would like to get a list of businesses that have started in the last 8 years here in the town of Dumfries, and if possible, any type of contracting they have done with the town. So, again, that's just a question. If I have to FOIA that, I'll FOIA that. I'm just trying to get a starting point for where we start as the EDA moving forward, so we kind of gauge how well we're doing or how well we're not doing.
Appreciate that. Director Lofton.
Thank you. So, first of all, I echo what Dr. Brown said. Thank you all to the staff and everybody being here. It takes a lot to keep the machine going. We are starting, there's a lot of questions as to the direction we'll go and how we will impact our community. But I hope that what we are doing is a collaborative effort together, at least at the onset, as you described, until we separate or decide on committees. I too have, again, thank you all for the appointment as treasurer. My background in commercial finance, this is my true wheelhouse, and there are, by the way, Director Brown, there is a list that the town has available online of all the businesses, the dates and when they, started and things like that are certainly things that can be researched, but you do have a starting point there. Some of the things I'd like to see, hopefully, are microloan funds, something that identifies businesses in a way that it comes from the EDA. Other jurisdictions have done placards you can put on a window to say woman-owned or minority-owned or veteran-owned, but issued from the EDA. Workshops that particularly geared at startups to help them understand the ins and outs of coming not only to Dumfries, but in starting a business. It's great that we have an opportunity to, I did have the pleasure of going to the meeting last night and seeing the branding company. And I think that there are great things that will happen in conjunction with the town's comp plan, which covers a lot of things that I think we will be doing here. So I just like us to see more of a roadmap, if you will, a list of rules and how we'll conduct ourselves in the future. So looking forward to working with everyone. Thank you. Sorry if I went over 2 minutes.
No.
Okay.
Well, I think I started off with my comment, which is a catalyst for this new protocol we have in place. So I think one of the reasons why, first of all, I like to, it goes without saying that what I consider the special forces, the staff, really have gone beyond the call, I think, in terms of really being supportive to the establishment of this EDA, and look forward to engaging and benefiting from your institutional knowledge in terms of your understanding and your workings with the community, with the town. And so I'm grateful for that, as we all are. And thank you. That said, I think one of the reasons why I highlighted the point about the membership is that I think starting out the blocks, we can benefit from best practices, and engaging that organization and similar organizations will be critical in terms of allowing us to be able to avoid mistakes others have made, especially in this dynamic time we live in. So I just want to reinforce that particular point as well.
Director Harris.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate the sentiment that my fellow directors have shared in terms of the gratitude to the town. So thank you for the work that you've done to get this started and to have this EDA stood up. One of the things I'll just say, I'm just happy to be here. I look forward to the collaboration and the work that we'll do in support of the town of Dumfries, as well as, for me personally, bring some level of structure and of seamlessness to the operation of this EDA, as well as also thinking about ways that we can really bring forth change in a very non-threatening way that the town and the people in it can benefit from. from, not necessarily shy away from or fight, and absorb it and understand what we're trying to do. So I look forward to bringing those things to this board, and I just look forward to really getting work done. That's just who I am and what I do. So really sticking to the work and making sure that we execute on the things that we need to do. That's it.
And if I may add one comment, if you wouldn't mind. This is just a bit off script, but about a week or so ago, I was having just a casual conversation with a professional who specializes in land and land acquisition and development. And I asked him, if one were to look at investing in land in anywhere within the DMV, where would you say is the ideal place? And he said Dumfries. He said Dumfries because what I see happening there is incredible. And I found it somewhat interesting that would be something I would be hearing before this first meeting, unsolicited. So I think if that again is a testament to the work that the staff, the team here has done, and is giving us a bit of a springboard to jump off of, which I think is going to even make things even exceed expectations as most people have.
Thank you, Director Garber. I have my comments here. Many folks here I've spoken to individually. We're going to get acquainted with each other pretty well.
Okay.
Initially, when we first started this, I told everybody then that my role and my responsibility I take serious. Number one, I take the responsibility to the townspeople very serious. I take the role then to the leadership serious, and also take the role that what it means for us to succeed here in Northern Virginia serious, not just as an African-American community predominantly, but also as a community that has demonstrated resilience in the face of a lot of adversity. So because of that, the town has a tough job on its hands, and there's not going to be a lot of people that stand in the way of those data centers, those energy plants coming down here. As you eloquently spoke, Director Garber, they are coming, and they know to come here, and they know what they want to do with this area. So as I've said before, I'll say it again, and I'm not going to shy away from that. That is that my responsibility is to protect the core of this community and make sure that it's protected. That does not have anything to do with the mayor. It has nothing to do with an individual person. It is just literally the responsibility of this position. And when I'm gone, someone else will be here, and someone else we will hope and we expect to set that standard and take that next standard to the next level, to the next level, to the next. And so it is important that everybody understands right now is that this isn't about one person. This is about the town. And if we don't understand that, then that's going to be problematic off the offset. And I'm going to tell you that you're going to run into a problem with me off the break. But I do know that I've got an opportunity to speak to everybody on this board, with the exception I've heard about you, Ms. Ebony. And what I do know is that everybody is very serious about what they're doing. And so I'm going to say thank you to you all for sticking it in, staying here. And I know it ain't going to be easy. I know we're not going to get we're not going to always agree on the hows, but we do agree on what that end goal should be, which is success for this town. And so for that reason, I will continue to look for ways to partner with the town and leave a operating manual for those who come after we decide that we've laid a strong foundation, or whenever the council feels free, feels that they need to replace one of our directors. As we continue out the rest of this year, I said, everybody kind of keep these two things on their mind. Number one, we are living in a climate that is very much unpredictable. That's just the bottom line. And it's because of that, I'm going to ask you to keep the second thing in mind, which is that because we are the EDA here for Dumfries, it gives us an opportunity now to speak to the state of Virginia in a way that the state of Virginia may never have been able to be spoken to when it comes to how we feel about folks coming into these local communities and putting in, whether it be a data center or whether it be a mega center, whatever that corporate institution may be, we have an opportunity to speak to them in a way that they may not have otherwise been spoken to. So everybody's talent is necessary. And I'm going to be leaning on everybody. And I pray, and it will continually be my hope that everyone lean on each other and also be able to lean on town. So Mr. Tabor, thank you. Town manager, thank you. And we know we'll see each other in many times, but thank you for all of y'all's hard work. And if the council persons, if they are watching, we want to say thank you to you. And we look forward to working with each and every one of you as time goes on. If there's no other questions, if there's no other issues, please you all, if you can, start to put your agenda items together so that we can begin to really start to put the formation together. But remember, this year, we're laying a foundation. That's just the bottom line. We're really laying a foundation. And if everyone helps to lay that foundation, I promise you, we will have something beautiful for everyone to build on in the coming years for this town. If there's nothing else, though, Mr. Tabor, did you want to say anything else? Because I know you helped us organize this, and I don't want to leave you out.
Just thank you for your service to the town of Dumfries, and each of you has a wealth of knowledge and experience, and we look forward to receiving that to help move the town forward. We have some tremendous opportunities in the town, as was mentioned. Outside of the town, our reputation, I think, is definitely growing. I had the opportunity to attend the International Council of Shopping Centers Mid-Atlantic Conference just yesterday and Monday. And as I spoke to brokers and representatives from retail establishments, the information that they had about Dumfries was good and positive, and there was excitement. So we do have, we're a small community, but we have so many opportunities for development and growth, and look forward to working with you to make that happen.
Thank you. And then I've got the town attorney still on. I'm not gonna leave her out since she's still there. Town attorney, you still there?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair.
Let's say anything before we close out.
Can you hear me?
Ma'am.
I'm having very, very bad technical problems on my end. For some reason, I cannot hear anything you're saying, if you're saying anything at all.
We were just we're about to close out. We were going to give you just a quick word if you want to say something.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you all working with us as we work through these technical difficulties. I want to make sure that each of you know that you can reach out in advance of the meetings or just to talk if you have any questions regarding either questions you're going to be discussing or just issues in general. And aside from that, I don't have anything else. I wish you all the best of luck.
Okay, yeah.
I apologize. I did want to introduce or make sure that you know the interim deputy town manager, Mr. Joseph Ray Vines, who is with us this evening.
Perfect. Thank you. Did you want to say anything, town manager? Okay. That seems like you good. Anything else, guys? If not, then we're going to go ahead and adjourn. We are at 8 o'clock on the dot. Am I right? That's actually, well, we got a few more minutes, but we should be done, right? We're adjourned.
So